Welcome to Preference Analytics AI Toolkit for smarter decisions and growth. This video will introduce you to powerful AI tools that will improve your efficiency, effectiveness, and relationships with your customers, prospects, or other stakeholders. Before we get too far into this video, here's what I would like you to do. Put your pens down. Don't take notes. Just listen. After the conference, you'll be able to go to the shared folder and watch the video as many times as you want, and take notes there. The toolkit helps businesses move from understanding to action faster and smarter. Key elements include AI prompts for smarter decisions, podcasts to promote your business to customers, creating content based on customer feedback, identifying geographic areas for growth, building chatbots to better engage with prospects or customers, and innovative ways of turning an idea, like a movie script, into impact. Our focus today begins with prompting for smarter decisions. We are going to cover 5 different prompt templates, and we will provide some examples of each prompt and what the output from each prompt might look like. You will see some examples from different industries. Let's talk about why good prompts make a difference. Great prompts lead to better thinking, which leads to better outcomes, which then leads to better decisions. The goal is to use these templates as a starting point and tailor them to your specific goals and content. Let's start with prompt number 1. The first prompt is challenge your thinking. The idea with this prompt is to use AI to surface blind spots in your business or organization. The template asks AI to challenge an assumption, identify what you might be missing, what could go wrong, and what a skeptical stakeholder might say. Take a second to read through the template. Remember, better prompts improve how you think. Here's an example of how to use this prompt. Let's assume you want to challenge the assumption of pricing a home slightly above market value to leave room for negotiation. You structure the prompt so that it tells you what you might be missing, what could go wrong, and what a skeptical seller or buyer might say. The idea is to structure the prompt in a way so that it provides answers that are most helpful to you. Let's take a look at the type of answer you might get from this prompt. Of course, this isn't only an example. When you do this on your own, you are going to receive answers customized to your situation. Okay, the output from the prompt could surface insights like the risk of deterring modern, online-savvy buyers with an overpriced listing. It also flags potential problems, such as a stagnant listing leading to eventual price reductions that signal weakness to the market. It can even generate what skeptical stakeholders, sellers and buyers, might say. The output from this prompt will be much more extensive than what we are showing on this slide. Here's a different example when it is about challenging your thinking. In this prompt, the service is life insurance, and the target audience are Latino consumers. You create a prompt that questions the assumption that using Spanish language ads and Latino imagery is the primary way to connect with U.S. Latino consumers. And you can ask, what might I be missing? What could go wrong? Or what would a skeptical consumer say? Consider how you could use this type of prompt in your business or organization. Let's move on. The prompt might surface that culture is not just language. It may say that trust and education are critical, leading to low trust. Skeptical stakeholders might question relevance, trustworthiness, or complexity. Interesting. Let's take a moment to think through what we just heard about using prompts to challenge your thinking. How can you apply this type of prompt to your business or organization? Prompt number 2, explain simply. Explain simply makes complex things easier to understand. This prompt helps you simplify a topic for a specific audience using a particular format and avoiding jargon. Take a second to read the template. Remember, The best prompts simplify complex things. Let's assume we own a construction company and we need to better understand how to manage cash flow. We structure the prompt to provide a simple explanation for a small contractor using a simple job example with payments and expenses. We also tell it to simultaneously avoid financial jargon. Let's see what the answer from this prompt might look like. The AI response explains that cash flow is about when money moves in versus out. It illustrates the challenge of spending upfront cash on materials before getting paid, and explains why many contractors rely on deposits or progress payments. How could you, your team, or even your partners use this Explain Simply prompt in your or their everyday tasks? Consider all the different topics, procedures, documents, and so on that are complicated and need to be explained in a much more clear manner. Let's move to the third type of prompt, called Generate Ideas. The Generate Ideas prompt is about using AI to spark creativity. The template asks for a specific number of creative ideas for a goal or problem and targeting a defined audience. It is important to specify a focus and then ask the bot to produce the requested output in your desired format. In this case, better prompts unlock better ideas. Here's an example where we want to generate ideas for a restaurant. The goal is to ask for 5 creative ideas to attract new customers. You specify the target audience. In this case, the audience is diverse, including families and multicultural consumers, with a focus on culturally inclusive and welcoming experiences. Finally, you want the ideas listed as bullet points. Let's see what the prompt might produce. Here's the likely output from this Generate Idea prompt. The likely output could include hosting cultural nights, offering sampler platters for new visitors, creating bilingual menus, running a Bring a Friend promotion, and partnering with local festivals that draw diverse crowds. Before we move to the next type of prompt, consider different ideas that you might be considering for your business or organization. After this conference, think about some ways for you to use the Generate Idea template. Let's move to a different type of prompt. Prompt 4. Summarizing and extracting insights. This fourth type of prompt, Summarize and Extract Insights, can help you quickly understand content and get to what matters. You structure the prompt to summarize content concisely, highlighting key takeaways and action items in a specified format. This helps you extract clarity and take action. Let's check out an example. Let's use a business that provides healthcare to seniors. What we want the prompt to do is to summarize patient and family feedback for the business. The prompt asks to summarize feedback clearly, highlighting takeaways and action items, focusing on caregiver quality, communication, and reliability. And let's see what type of output this prompt might generate. The likely output from the prompt extracts key takeaways, such as families want consistent, compassionate caregivers, and communication is inconsistent. It could provide action items that include assigning consistent caregivers, setting up regular family check-ins, and improving scheduling and alert systems. Pretty cool, huh? We all probably have lots of documents sitting around our offices that may have important information. We just need to quickly summarize and extract the insights. Any that come to mind for your firm? Improve my work. The fifth and last prompt we are going to cover in this video is Improve my work. Here, we're using AI to make your writing clearer, stronger, and more impactful. The template asks AI to review and improve content for a specific goal, tone, and to explain the changes made. Take a few seconds to review the template. Remember, better prompts help you do your best work. Let's use a law firm for this prompt. The prompt asks AI to review an initial client message. The goal is to improve the clarity and professionalism of the message, and to make it concise and persuasive, and to adjust the tone to be confident and reassuring. Let's check out the answer. The improved version is a professional email template. It expresses gratitude for the outreach, confirms the legal team's review, and offers an open invitation to share additional information, concluding with professional regards. Take a few seconds to think about the different ways you could use an AI prompt to improve your work. Did you come up with any? That's all the prompt examples in this video. Let's take a quick breather. We covered 5 different types of prompts: challenge my thinking, generate ideas, explain simply, summarize and extract insights, improve my work. I hope this generated some ideas for your organization. But there's a lot more prompts in our AI toolkit. The Prompt Toolkit includes over 30 pages of AI resources, practical prompts to use right away, frameworks to structure your thinking, and tools to help you act and execute more quickly. Let's look at some other interesting things in the toolkit. Let's take a look at a sampling of what's inside the 30-page toolkit.
This chart helps you figure out your level of AI literacy with 15 ways to determine if you are a casual user, a prompt optimizer, a workflow automator, a custom builder, or a system architect. Notice the 3 different criteria for each level. Take a minute to skim through this before we go to the next slide. You'll get a copy of all this information after the conference. All you have to do is scan a QR code that will be provided to you.
Here are 8 prompts to use ChatGPT, or any other AI, as your thinking partner. We saw a couple of these before. Challenge your thinking, reframe through a different lens, translate my gut feeling, structure my messy thinking, help me face the decision, surface the deeper question, spot execution risks, and real cool, reverse engineer my gut instinct. Would you like to become superhuman? You can become superhuman by using the 80-20 principle to learn. Here's an example. Use a prompt to help you learn about a topic and understand 80% of it by identifying the important 20% of learnings. Here's another idea. Turn ChatGPT into your intern. There's a lot more on this page. Confused about which large language model, also known as LLMs in the industry? This LLM comparison guide will help you make informed decisions on which LLM to use. For example, it suggests ChatGPT for everyday tasks, and Gemini for summarizing data, and good old Claude for coding. Lots to choose from here, and it really depends on your content and situation. Here's a cool list of tools organized by what you are trying to accomplish or topic. For example, YouTube tools, sales tools that include Lavender, Warmer, Octane, Twain, Reggie, Simplified. There are tools for productivity, music, writing, coding, daily life, content creation, images, and more. The tools constantly change, so it's important to do your own searching. The point is to be organized and to categorize. Okay, let's look at AI in a slightly different way. This guide focuses on building a solopreneur business. It lists tools for ideation, concept development, business analysis, prototyping, development, like a website, and marketing. Take a second to skim through these. Interesting, there is a copywriting subtool under marketing. I wonder how that one compares to our proprietary one, which brings in the best of concept writing guidelines, psychology, and other best practices. Let's look at another one. Here is an 8-step guide to building your first AI agent. It walks you through selecting a workflow, mapping human steps, choosing tools, and writing your first prompt. Then you connect it to a real trigger, add simple logic, test it on real work, and finally, update it based on what didn't work. This guide on launching a business with AI tools emphasizes building, not just using AI. It suggests 5 good AI chatbots and their strengths. I particularly like the idea of cloning yourself with AI and creating a knowledge hub. Talking about knowledge, let's pivot to learning. You can get a free degree in AI from Harvard. The curriculum is all free with no paywall and includes many lectures about AI, an intro to generative AI, several videos on prompting, how to build personas, and more. Check out the link. Finally, there are free courses from Anthropic. The curriculum covers Claude, how to become fluent in AI, agent skills, the Claude API, coding, and AI for nonprofits and educators, and more. The goal is to figure out where you are and find the courses that work best for you. Some good stuff here. Okay, we are now going to focus on some other interesting and useful things you can find in the toolkit. This section of the video will focus on communicating products, services, and ideas effectively. To make your communication more effective and convert sales and improve customer retention, you can use tools like podcasts, white papers, and video explainers to build awareness. The tools will help you more clearly communicate or describe your product or service, and importantly, why it matters. The goal is turn interest into action and gain more customers. People learn in different ways. Some learn by reading, others by watching, others by listening. Which brings me to podcasts. The right AI tool enables you to create podcasts from many different types of sources. They can be a website that you've scraped or a report that you found, results from customer feedback, and other ways. The beauty of these AI tools is that you can create one long podcast or a series of podcasts. I personally like creating a short trailer podcast and then a series. It's like owning your own radio station. So, the founder of Preference Analytics' daughter is a senior marketer at the California Academy of Sciences in San Francisco. He recently visited the academy and was so excited about it that he suggested to his daughter that a podcast would be a great way to get the word out through email marketing, social media, and other ways. Check out Claude, the alligator with albinism. Sadly, he recently passed away. Anyway, we decided to scrape the website about the academy and found an engaging article about a member's love for the academy. That content was then converted into a white paper. Then, using Google Notebook LM's AI solution, he converted that white paper into a short podcast. Let's take a listen.
Ever wonder why some places just, click? Why you feel you have to go back?
Yeah, that poll is interesting.
We've got a great look into that today. It's based on what a longtime member told us about why they love the California Academy of Sciences.
Right. And it's clearly not just about dusty exhibits behind glass.
No, definitely not. So our mission here is to unpack what makes this place so special, why people feel so, loyal to it.
Okay. Well, what really jumps out first is how this member describes it. Not just a museum, but a living, breathing universe.
A living universe. How so?
Think about the rainforests of the World Dome. You walk in, and it's not just looking. You feel the warmer air, you hear the birds, you might see butterflies flitting past. It hits multiple senses.
Oh, right. So it's immersive.
Exactly. It makes learning feel, real, visceral. And you see kids just wide-eyed with wonder there. That sense of awe is key, isn't it?
Absolutely. And that feeling clearly doesn't fade after one visit. They talk about the joy of rediscovery.
Mm-hmm. It's not a place you just see once and you're done.
So, what keeps changing?
We'll take the Steinhardt Aquarium, that huge Philippine coral reef tank, or the Morrison Planetarium shows. These things get updated, they add new research, new perspectives.
Okay, so it evolves.
Right. It's dynamic, so each time you go back, it's like opening, a familiar book, but finding a new chapter you hadn't read before. It keeps things fresh.
That makes sense. And it sounds like it gets pretty personal, too. This member mentions specific animals. Claude.
Claude, yeah. The albino alligator, calling him a beloved old friend. That's quite a statement, isn't it?
It really is. It shows a real connection.
It does. And it's not just Claude. They mention the penguins in the African Hall, too, and how well cared for they seem.
Oh, interesting. So that builds trust.
I think so, yeah. It suggests you're not just seeing animals, you're connecting with an organization that genuinely cares, that lives its mission. It goes beyond just being an exhibit.
And that mission seems really important to this member. The conservation side, the community stuff.
Precisely.
Yeah.
It's not just passive viewing. They mention things like the living roof, which is all about sustainability.
Right, the roof of all the plants.
Yeah. And community programs. It reinforces this idea that science is action. Being a member feels less like just paying an entry fee and more like joining something.
Like being part of a movement?
Sort of, yeah. A movement towards, awareness, maybe even a hope for the planet. It taps into people's values, I think.
It really sounds like, for this person anyway, the Academy is much more than just a museum building.
Definitely. They talk about bringing friends and family there. It's a shared experience.
And even using it for a personal mental reset, just a place to go and, I guess, recharge.
Uh-huh. Which highlights how significant it can be on a personal level, a community hub, but also a place for individual well-being.
Plus, sparking that curiosity in kids, that's got to be a big motivator for people to keep supporting it.
Oh, for sure. Seeing that spark in a child's eyes is powerful. So ultimately, it functions as this a sanctuary.
A sanctuary.
Yeah, a sanctuary for curiosity, for inspiration, and for, fostering that connection and love for the planet. That seems to be the core of why membership feels so valuable to them.
So if we boil it down, it's the whole package.
Mm-hmm.
The immersive feeling, always finding something new, those personal ties, even to an alligator.
Right, and the bigger purpose, the conservation work, feeling part of a community, it all weaves together.
It really makes you think, doesn't it?
It does, and maybe that's a final thought for you listening. What places or experiences in your life create that same kind of deep connection? What inspires you to keep engaging, keep learning about the world?
What are those key ingredients that make an institution feel truly indispensable to you? Something to ponder.
I loved that alligator. I think that podcast did a good job explaining why people just love the Academy of Sciences. Take a few seconds to think about how a podcast was used to communicate about the museum's services. Is a podcast a way for your firm to more effectively and efficiently get the word about your firm's products and services? Is there a special message or product that you've been considering communicating to your prospects or your current customers? Maybe it's a series of 5 to 6 podcasts, each 2 to 3 minutes in length, about your real estate firm, your beauty salon, your construction firm, insurance agency, law firm, and so on. Okay, let's talk about another way to use AI. This time, it's creating marketing assets, like a flyer or brochure, an image visual that you can use in your sales or marketing materials. And the source of the content that goes into that visual is customer feedback. So there's this person that we know who has been baking brown butter fruit pies for over 40 years for family. She retired from helping her husband with his business, and at the urging of her daughters, decided to bake and sell her pies. By the way, she also sells pie crust cookies, which she can ship anywhere in the US. They are delicious. So here's her website. It's called Sissy's Artisanal Pie and Dough Company. And she's called Sissy because that's what her brothers called her when she was young. By the way, that logo in the upper left-hand corner, AI did that. And if you were to scroll down the landing page, you would find a podcast that she created where she tells her story. But let's move on to how to use customer feedback to create visual images. Last year, she sold lots and lots of pies during Thanksgiving. After it was all over, she had someone create a survey for her, and she sent it to all her buyers asking for feedback about the pies, what they liked and didn't like. Let's turn the page. Okay, so Sissy collected all that feedback about the pies she sold during Thanksgiving, and then she used an AI tool to summarize it into a white paper. Then, using Gemini, she created a visual, a graphic that depicts the key results from the survey. All pretty positive results, by the way. It took about 5 minutes to create this visual. And I'm not showing you the updated visual, which is on brand with her logo, color, and other things. But the point is, use your own customer feedback. That can come from surveys, feedback forms, interviews, what have you. Take a second to think about your business or organization. Do you have customer feedback that you may have collected? Maybe it's in pretty good shape so that you can use AI to create a graphic like the one here. And if you don't already have customer feedback, think about how you could go about collecting it. It may be much easier than you think. So once you have the customer feedback, summarize it with AI. You review it, make any edits, then when it's ready, feed it into an AI tool to create a visual that you are comfortable with. It's really not complicated. My advice, first find the time to work on this. Then think about what you are trying to accomplish, collect the feedback if you haven't already, figure out what's the message you want to communicate, then go use AI to create amazing visuals very quickly. Let's take a breather. And to be instructive, please put your pens down. Remember, you will have access to all this information after the conference. I want to turn to something pretty different. We are now going to talk about a way to identify where to focus your marketing or sales efforts so that you can grow effectively and efficiently. So, the idea here is to identify neighborhoods, or more precisely, a group of neighborhoods, to grow your business. The underlying objective is find where your best customers live and focus your efforts there. Some people call this lookalikes. While Meta, Facebook may have convinced people that they came up with lookalike customers, the idea and process has been around for decades. I'm old. I was building lookalike models in 1985. So by being more efficient, you increase your marketing return on investment. That's because you are allocating your precious sales dollars where your best customers are concentrated. And that opportunity? Some zip codes will definitely be better than other zip codes for targeting. Think about the many different geographic areas where your firm sells or your nonprofit serves the public. Not all zip codes are alike, right? And so the idea is that by grouping those desired, targeted, specific zip codes together will make your business or organization even more effective. But you can do better by being even more accurate by using those 4 digits found at the end of the 9-digit zip code. That's called zip plus 4. You can identify good prospects, like your best customers, based on demographics and economic data that's been appended to each zip plus 4. That's how you beat your competitors and the big corporate guys. Let me show you a quick 20-second video of what I mean. By the way, we call this approach micro-marketing. Let's look at Florida, and let's play the video. Kinda eerie music, huh? You probably didn't need to watch the video to understand what I was saying about micro-markets. But the video was fun to create, and it wasn't rocket science. I just had to think through how to prompt the AI with the 3 different scenes I wanted. Again, it's all about prompting correctly, so the output matches your need. Learning how to prompt is important. Let's look at a map of the Tampa Bay area. So, to be a little technical, here's a map of the greater Tampa Bay area. I want to show this because tools like these are able to pinpoint the group of geographic areas where there is lots of potential. For example, if we are trying to grow our customer base among Latino consumers, they can be clustered in all those blue city blocks. All the red neighborhoods have very low levels of cultural diversity, so best to not focus sales efforts in those areas. It is also possible to overlay income on the same map. We can then determine in which of those blue areas there are many Hispanic customers with average or higher than average household incomes. I'm sure you recognize this map. I'm not sure where we are all sitting right now, but that is not the point. So here's the city of St. Paul and the zip codes that make up the city. Here's something to consider. Do you know which of all those zip codes you should focus your sales and marketing efforts? Are some better than others? Where would you focus? Let's look at this in more detail. Let's zoom in on zip code 55117. I wish this census map was clearer. From what I understand, zip 55117 primarily covers the North End neighborhood of St. Paul, Minnesota, along with portions of the Greater East Side and Payne-Phalen. It also extends north into the suburban cities of Little Canada and Maplewood. That's a pretty big zip code. I'm sure there's a lot differences between all of those different areas. But here's what is interesting to me, and I hope to you. See all those square blocks in zip 55117? There are hundreds of them. Each of those square blocks, and oftentimes each block has a unique zip plus 4. Some of those zip plus 4s are going to be different than other zip plus 4s in terms of population, home ownership, race/ethnicity, and income. So what some companies do is group those desirable zip plus 4s together and spend most of their precious marketing dollars in those zip plus 4s. That's being efficient and effective. Yeah, I know there was a lot information there. My apologies. But I was trying to make a point. Large companies often use these kind of micro-marketing tools to drive sales. Take a second and think about the zip codes that your firm or organization serves. How well do you know those zip codes? What's cool with AI is that these types of tools, which were previously available only to large companies, are now available to smaller and medium-sized businesses. We call that democratizing insights, usable information for the masses. I believe that this kind of info, where is the population concentrated, is it growing, who can afford to buy a specific product or service, and whether culturally informed messaging, and so on, should be available to all companies, regardless of size. AI has made it even easier to create this type of information. Okay, you can come back to this section of the video after the conference. Use the QR code, access the info by registering, and you will be able to download this section of the video or other sections. Or you can just reach out to Preference Analytics.
Excited about a chatbot I built that I like to call a cultural gem. This isn't just another AI tool. It's designed specifically to help small businesses, medium-sized businesses, even corporations build trust and drive growth with the U.S. Hispanic market. Now, if you think about it, there are over 68 million Hispanics in the United States, but success in this market isn't just about applying standard sales or marketing tactics. It's about understanding culture, because for this audience, it's not just about transactions, it's about relationships. And that's exactly where this bot comes in. Think of it as your on-demand cultural strategist. It helps bridge the gap between traditional approaches and the cultural nuances that really matter. Things like trust or confianza, understanding identity, and recognizing just how diverse this community truly is. It can even guide you on when to use Spanish, English, or even Spanglish. It can help you decode behaviors, expectations, and values, so you're not just reaching this audience, you're really connecting with them in a meaningful way. So now let me quickly show you how it works. Oh, and by the way, this wasn't overly complicated to build. I created it using a Gemini gem within Google, layered in my own proprietary knowledge, and then made it accessible as a focused, purpose-built tool. So let me ask it a simple question. And the question is going to be, what are the cultural values of the U.S. Hispanic market? Okay. So right away, you'll see it doesn't just give generic answers. It walks through the key drivers of trust, things like familismo, which is the importance of family, personalismo, the value of personal relationships, respect for hierarchy, confianza, those things that, generate deep earned trust. It even touches on things like cultural fluidity, which is critical in understanding how identities evolve across generations. Now let's try something completely different. Let's ask, do Latinos use social media in the United States? And how does their usage compare to that of Anglos, white non-Hispanics? Okay. So the response is pretty clear. Hispanics aren't just participating in digital, they're driving it. The bot explains how social media is used not just for entertainment, but as a search engine. It's used as a communication tool and a way to build trust. If we scroll down, we'll see that it even tells us and highlights platforms like WhatsApp, TikTok, and YouTube. And it explains why they matter. It tells us what the key cultural driver is. And this is the key point. This chatbot isn't pulling random information from across the internet. It's grounded in curated proprietary knowledge. That makes the responses more focused, more relevant, and far less prone to the kind of inconsistencies or hallucinations that you often see with general AI tools. So, of course, you always have to validate important decisions, but this kind of Taylor system can give people a much closer to the mark, much faster information. So that's the idea, a practical, intelligent tool designed to help sales and marketing professionals truly understand and, more importantly, build relationships with the U.S. Hispanic market.
Hey, I'm back. That was an interesting demo of a cultural chatbot focused on the U.S. Hispanic market. I love the cultural gem name. Of course, these chatbots can be customized for any industry or profession. That was an exciting journey we traveled over the past 30 minutes as we learned about all the different AI tools and processes available to you. And there's more AI info out there. Thanks for listening and watching the video. If you would like to access all the information that's been shared, you can do so by scanning the QR code that will be shared with you in a few minutes. Thank you and good luck with your AI adventures.